Hey everybody, welcome back to the Court of Random Opinion. My name is Lauren Neidigh. This is our second stream of the night. We just read in the last stream Jennifer Abel's amended response to Stephanie Jones' complaint and counterclaims. And now we're going to read the one filed by Justin Baldoni and Wayfarer. I invited my friend Omar to hop on if he can, but it was a little last minute, so I'm not sure. If he can't, then he's going to be joining my friend Neidigh here to discuss her new website in about an hour and a half, so you guys can catch him there if he's not able to join us during this one. I expect this stream to be remarkably shorter than the last one and hopefully less emotionally inspiring, because that last one was absolutely bonkers. If you missed it, I'm sure a lot of the stuff that's new in that one is going to be kind of the same in this one, but we're going to go through it together anyways. But, you know, once this is over, I am in my pajamas and ready to go to bed. So, all right, guys. Let me pull this up real quick. All right. So, this is the amended answer to the complaint and counterclaims. So we're going to skim over the answer, the paragraph by paragraph answer to Stephanie Jones' complaint, because that's going to be largely the same. Stephanie Jones' actual complaint has not changed. What's changed is the counterclaims. And guys, as always, I will be doing a shorter recap of this tomorrow. So if you can't stick with us tonight, hit the like button for me and then check back in tomorrow morning. But there's a lot of interesting stuff going on tonight. They have brought the SHAM lawsuit and subpoena into the mix now, as we were all waiting for. And then, like I told you guys earlier, Jed Wallace's amended complaint is expected to drop in the Texas court tomorrow night, because that's when it's due. So, a lot going on, you know. Okay. You be glitching. I don't know who you're talking to. Are you talking to me? Hopefully I'm okay, because everything's all right on my end. If not, just let me know. Okay, we're going to scroll through this, the answers in the beginning here. And this one's a little bit shorter. It's only 56 pages. So they answer paragraph by paragraph here. So that's the bulk of the document, really. Okay, and here's where it gets to the good stuff. Counterclaims of Wayfarer Studios, LLC. Wayfarer Studios, by and through undersigned counsel, as and for its counterclaims against Stephanie Jones and Jones Works, alleges as follows. We're not going to read through the parties because they're not adding any new parties, so we already know what's going on there. Sick. Jurisdiction and venue, we can skim over that. General allegations. Here's where we're getting to the good stuff. So, just Ricardo, thank you for the $2 DM. I'm only 1/3 of the bottle of sake plus bull, and we still got time, Ricardo. I just started. All right. Also, Sally Neely, thank you for becoming a new YouTube member. I'm going to do something members only this weekend. So if you're a Patreon member or a YouTube member, you'll be able to access that. All right. Oh, Cassidy's here. These people have so much more to lose reputation-wise. Ryan, Blake, Stephanie Jones, their attorneys even. Yikes. I'm wondering, after reading that last document an hour ago, if Blake and Ryan just didn't realize how effing crazy Stephanie Jones actually is, because whoa, this is nuts. Cassidy, as always, you're welcome to join if you want to hop on, but it's late at night, so I understand if you can't. We'll see. Okay. Jones Works is a well-known New York-based public relations firm. Let's go. Long known for her Southern twang. I remember that. We talked about her husband. She's married to someone who works for WME. He's a partner at WME. As you guys know, WME reps Ryan and Blake, and they had fired Justin Baldoni after Ryan Reynolds told the agent for WME that Baldoni was a sex pest or sexual predator or something along those lines. So it's Kim. Thanks for joining us, and thank you for the $2 super sticker. I appreciate you. People are saying Cassidy's stuff is awesome. Cassidy's stuff is awesome. You guys should check it out if you haven't yet. All right. Hi, Cassidy. You killed those skanky attorneys. Skanky attorneys. I haven't seen it yet, guys. I'm listening. I'm going to listen to it after this before I go to bed. So, yeah. Oh, man. Oh, no problem, Cassidy. Thanks for joining us. I'm sure everyone will enjoy you in the chat. Okay. Let's see. In consideration for Jonesworks' provision of services, Wayfarer agreed to pay $20,000 a month. Okay, so I remember that because I remember the first time we read through that, I was like, $20,000 a month? Imagine what I could do with that money. I would get into a lot of trouble. Anyways, we're going to skip through. Like I said, this is going to be a remarkably shorter stream than the last one, guys. There's going to be a lot of the same stuff here, and I love just contractual stuff that we read before. So I'm going to get right to the interesting stuff here. Relevant context regarding the film. Justin Baldoni founded Wayfarer in 2019. From the beginning, they were intended to be a different kind of studio, one devoted to producing world-class entertainment with a mission-driven purpose. And I don't know why I'm wearing these headphones. I'm going to take this off. All right. In pursuit of that vision, in 2019, Wayfarer acquired the film rights to It Ends With Us, a Colleen Hoover novel published in 2016. We know that. Inspired by the book, Baldoni approached Hoover about the possibility of a film adaptation. Familiar with his previous work, Hoover told Baldoni that she believed he was the right person for the project and suggested he play the lead role of Ryle. Right. Wayfarer cast Blake Lively for the role of Lily, entrusting her with fulfilling that vision. For reasons now widely known, that turned out to be an unwise decision. Without diving into the full sequence of events, which are the subject of active litigation, Lively ended up stealing control of the movie, hijacking the premiere, and taking aim at the personal and professional reputations of Baldoni and the Wayfarer team in an apparent attempt to drive Wayfarer out of business. For present purposes, it suffices to say that Wayfarer and Baldoni had significant public relations needs in the summer of 2024, before, during, and after the film's premiere. All right. C. Jones and Jonesworks act against Wayfarer's interest and breach the agreement. So this is going to be a lot of what we saw in the Abel complaint, I think, probably. Let's see. It was at this time, summer 2024, that Stephanie Jones, seemingly in the midst of a downward spiral, I'll say, decided to stir up unnecessary drama and discord, throwing elbows for self-interested reasons, undermining and eventually terminating Jonesworks' point person at Wayfarer, refusing to follow instructions and generally causing more problems than she was solving. In so doing, Jones ruptured her relationship with the Wayfarer team and Baldoni, and ultimately rendered any continued engagement by Jones or Jonesworks untenable and intolerable. That's how you want to be described by your former clients. That is especially so given what Wayfarer and Baldoni later learned about the true magnitude of Jones' malice. 1 second, guys. All right. Sorry about that. For almost 4 years, Jonesworks worked for Wayfarer and Baldoni, was managed by Jen Abel. Over time, Abel developed a close and trusting relationship with them. At all times during their 4-year engagement with Jonesworks, it was very clear to Wayfarer, and Jones largely did not hide, that Jones considered them to be a lower prestige client and devoted her attention to clients such as Jeff Bezos and Tom Brady. Yet by July 2024, things were not going well for Jones. At the same time as Jonesworks was bleeding clients and personnel, Jones learned that Business Insider was working on an unflattering story, and we've heard about that. Given Abel's close relationship with Wayfarer and Baldoni, Jones was undoubtedly concerned they would leave Jonesworks alongside her, and she wanted to make sure that did not happen. During this period, Wayfarer and Baldoni were in the midst of a massive PR crisis, as news stories began to trickle out speculating about possible tension between Lively and Baldoni, largely due to the cast no longer following him on social media, just as the film was about to premiere. I had to check and make sure I wasn't still muted because I don't want to pull an Omar. And you can tell him I said that. Okay. Let's see. Wayfarer and Baldoni asked Abel to recommend a crisis management specialist. After consulting with Jones, who had no viable ideas, you could pretty much just sum this entire thing up with, after consulting with Jones, who had no viable ideas. End of story. If she hadn't gone scorched earth and triggered this entire mess. Anyways, Abel recommended that Wayfarer and Baldoni engage crisis PR expert Melissa Nathan. And as we know, Jones nixed that idea. So, all right. Let's get to that. Even though Abel felt strongly that Nathan was the right choice, she knew Jones would be unhappy. Jones viewed Nathan as a competitor and had a history of bad-mouthing her to anyone who would listen, including Nathan's own clients. Out of sensitivity for these considerations, Abel advised the Wayfarer team to remain open to other options. Abel feared backlash from Jones, but felt strongly that Nathan was the best option. Okay. This is where they're saying that Abel kind of did some light disparaging of Melissa and Nathan to placate Jones. And if you guys remember, in Jones's complaint, she put out these examples of basically Jennifer Abel just agreed with somebody else that Melissa and Nathan, like something negative or disparaging about Melissa and Nathan. She was like, oh, yeah, sure. I don't remember the exact words or exactly what was said, but it was just kind of like, why would you even include that in this complaint? This is some weird high school drama, bullshit, but whatever. All right. Wayfarer, through its CEO, Heath, acknowledged Jones' position, but told her Wayfarer would make its own decision after meeting Nathan. When Jones inserted herself into the mix in July to August 2024, she was transparently seeking to box out Nathan and Abel. The problem was that Jones had chosen not to be privy to Wayfarer's leadership's communication strategy or internal decision-making, having long claimed to be too busy with higher-profile clients, which she apparently lost. Wayfarer was fine with Jones' disengagement as Abel was their trusted advisor, and they had no interest in being a pawn in Jonesworks' office politics. And like I said, this is largely the same. Some of this stuff is the same as the last document that we read, so we won't read it word for word. But sorry, what exactly is going on with your cat lady? Who drew a penis on whose face? Anyways, moving on. I think I read this already, but Kim, thank you for the $2 super sticker again. Cat Lady, thank you for the $2. It's light disparaging, similar to minor perjury. No, I don't think so. I think those are pretty different things. But, close try, I guess. Okay. Jones had chosen to take a lengthy vacation in Europe during the critical period of the press campaign and premiere of the film. I remember that part. So we read all that not too long ago. Let's see. But on August 8th, Jones, in another desperate attempt to reinsert herself, contacted a Daily Mail reporter about a story they had published about Baldoni and Lively. She did so in direct violation of Abel's instruction per Wayfarer not to talk to the press, given the truce with Lively's team. Nonetheless, Jones bragged to Wayfarer about trading calls with the Daily Mail in an effort to appear engaged on the account. God, this lady's a psycho. All right. And then there is an email from Stephanie to Jamie Heath and Justin Baldoni. Left word for blank. She's very nice in the past. We'll get this fixed. And then it shows an email with the Daily Mail. So she was asked not to speak to reporters. And that email right there is showing that she's just like, I'm going to do it anyways. Fuck it. I'm going to do it anyways. Let's see. Oh, thank you, Kathy. That's very nice. Thank you. Okay. This blatant disregard for Wayfarer's strategy sparked a chain of unfortunate developments. Sloan and Sony learned that someone from Baldoni's team had been communicating negatively to media. It was clearly Jones, and Wayfarer's leadership was livid. I remember Stephanie Jones was then like, look at my phone records and all this stuff. I didn't do it, as if she didn't just use a different account or something. With her reckless, unauthorized activities, Jones had made that scenario much more likely, the slugfest between Lively and Baldoni. All right, let's see. Nathan started hearing from other journalists that Sloan was planting negative stories about Baldoni and was under the impression that Baldoni's camp had broken the truce. Anxious Sony execs began reaching out to Wayfarer seeking clarity. Yet Jones, panicked about being blamed, refused to be sidelined, insisting that she needed to contact Sony's and Lively's PR teams to clarify that she had not planted any negative stories about Lively. Heath told her not to do that, to which Jones responded that she could do whatever she wants to clear her name, and that Wayfarer could not stop her from making calls. So stupid, man. Desperate to salvage her reputation with Lively and Sony, Jones emailed a number of key Sony executives working on the film to declare that she was in Europe with her husband, partner at WME, Jason Hodes. Wait, who introduces their spouse that way? This is my husband, partner at WME, Jason Hodes. I mean, all right. And placing all blame on her team. In her attempt to save face, Jones ruptured her relationship with Wayfarer and Baldoni. I can't believe it took that long, to be honest. Although Jones ultimately agreed to stand down, Wayfarer and Baldoni had lost all trust in her. After parachuting in for self-interested reasons, nearly blowing up the truce with Lively's team, and lashing out when told to stop, Jones became a magnet for drama when it was least needed. I wonder what she's like when it's most needed. Just saying. God, this stuff is nuts. Okay. But Jones would not give it a rest. Ironically, given her later attempt to fabricate a smear campaign narrative, it was Jones, not Wayfarer, Baldoni, Abel, or Nathan, who started advocating for a more aggressive PR strategy. Her advice, in air quotes, was not heeded. Stephanie Jones, in this text message they're including here, says, I sent you an email with what I think strategy should be, as Justin is not being represented in these stories. We have to fight for every story. I also attached my phone record so you could see I did not call Daily Mail or receive/make calls to any media. Guys, this right here, let me read that again. I attached my phone record so you could see I did not call Daily Mail or receive/make calls to any media. Sounds like something I would have told my parents in middle school when I was like, no, I did not use my computer when you guys specifically told me not to. But actually, I had used the computer at the school library. So, just saying, that's some bullshit, I swear to God. You don't volunteer that kind of information for no reason. All right. On or about August 14th, 2024, so this is a little bit before everything went down, Jones sent an email to Heath further elaborating on her recommended strategy. Flood the zone with positives. Okay. Prepare alternate stories. Okay. And then there's an email here. It says, Blake Lively felt Justin Baldoni fat-shamed her, kissed too long during scene, which again is just ridiculous. And she's sending this email to Jamie Heath and Tara Hanks, who is the president of Wayfarer. Hi, both Mir just emailed us about this TMZ report. I don't see any incoming inquiries from TMZ, but I had to contact Harvey, who founded TMZ in the past, about stories they published. Lady, they asked you not to get involved. All you had to do was sit there and collect a goddamn paycheck. Like, you did not have to do this. Nobody asked for this. All you had to do was not screw shit up. You didn't even have to work. Somebody says, who is Tara? Tara Hanks, I believe is her last name. I'm going to need this blanket real quick. It's kind of cold up here. It was hot earlier. Tara Hanks, I believe, is the president of Wayfarer. So I have a picture of them somewhere. I used it for a thumbnail. I'll have to show it to you guys sometime. Go, thank you for the $10 super sticker. I appreciate you. That's awesome. Let's see. Over the next week or so, Wayfarer and Jones went back and forth, with Wayfarer reiterating it did not want Jones acting on its behalf. Imagine having to specify to your PR person who's supposed to be the head of the PR firm, please do not work with us. We will pay you $20,000 a month to just leave us alone. And she couldn't even do that because she's such a psycho. Oh my God, this lady's crazy. All right. We've seen these emails before. Hi, Jamie, Justin, Wayfarer, you, Tara, and team are extremely important to us. I received your text a little over an hour ago, but I'm currently unable to make calls on my cell at my current location. I'm so sorry. I bet everyone was relieved by that fact, ma'am. But the fact that you can still email is a true travesty. Redacted, one of our SVPs, whom you have cited has been one of your day-to-day senior execs on your account, said he just spoke with you and nothing was urgent. It was about the announcement for the new book adaptation. We're working on placing it on the heels of It Ends With Us. Your below email is inaccurate. As you know, I have been deeply involved in strategy. No, ma'am. I could email Brian Friedman a whole bunch of bullshit right now. That doesn't mean I'm deeply involved in his legal strategy, especially if he says, hey, Lauren, please stop. What do you do at that point? Hey, Lauren, you can collect a paycheck. Just please stop giving us your thoughts because they are deeply stupid. I mean, like, what do you have to do at that point? Nothing. I mean, nothing. All you had to do was nothing. And you couldn't do that. You're a psycho. Like, this lady's such a psycho. I cannot. Somebody says, I want that job. Techie Bliss, hey, how's it going? MB Shotzi, I see MB Shotzi's here. How you feeling? All right, let's get through some more of this. Your blue email's inaccurate, blah, blah, blah. This has never been one person, but rather it's been a true team effort. So she's still trying to make it sound like she had something to do with their PR strategy this entire time. As September drew nearer, Wayfarer and Baldoni, with the assistance of Abel and Nathan, continued their tireless efforts to promote the film, put out fires, and see the project through to the finish line. Jones, on the other hand, was stewing in jealousy towards Abel and resentment towards Wayfarer / Baldoni for their lack of confidence in her. Lady, $20,000 a month. You can't be that mad. All they wanted you to do was fuck off. Can you imagine getting $20,000, guys? Everyone in the chat right now, can you imagine getting $20,000 a month to fuck off and refusing? I mean, come on. Jesus. God, people are wild. I gotta tell you, man, I pretty much fuck off for free. I love being alone. Anyways, although Wayfarer and Baldoni were not yet aware of the magnitude of Jones' betrayal, Jones clearly expected Wayfarer to terminate the Jonesworks agreement. Okay. Notwithstanding her own despicable and surreptitious conniving, Jones cynically started taking steps transparently intended to make it harder to cut her loose. Crazy ex-girlfriend, sounds like. Those steps included sending email after unwelcome email to Heath and others. God, I mean, people in these positions of power and influence, they really take this shit for granted. I'm telling you. Like, come on. You had the easiest job in the world. Just shut up and let somebody else do the work. And you still couldn't do it. I mean, come on. Just Ricardo, thank you for the 2. I wonder if any of Blake's ATTS sing the Doom song alone. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know what you're talking about. But thank you. Kylie Birch, thank you for the 5. Thank you, Lauren. Your readings of the filings with your humor and expressive candor, cunts, and what the fuck's hysterical. Thank you, Kylie. Apologize to anyone in the chat who was not ready for that kind of language, but you are here, so what were you expecting? When Lauren says lady, for some reason the song Lady in Red always pops in my head. Lady! All right. After Jones suddenly and unceremoniously fired Abel in the midst of this crisis, leaving Wayfarer in the lurch, communications between Jones and Wayfarer broke down completely. Jones vacillated between insisting that they only speak through lawyers and making erratic and deranged threats to sue. That's fantastic. Demanding exorbitant payment for work not done and insisting against evidence that she was doing an amazing job. Wayfarer and Baldoni considered her behavior to be a material breach of the agreement and advised Jones that they were terminating the Jonesworks agreement as of the end of August. And she was still like, no, I'm doing amazing. Did your psychic tell you that? Anyways. All right, so let's we're getting into the private communication stuff here. During this period, Jones was stewing in anger and resentment. She devised a plan to take revenge on all of them through the theft and dissemination of Abel's private communications with individuals in the Wayfarer circle. As Abel was being frog marched out of the Joneswork, what does that look like? Frog marched? Was she like hopping on all fours? I'm just asking for a friend. And Jonesworks' attorney, at Jones' direction, confiscated Abel's iPhone and duped her into disclosing her passcode on the false pretense that they needed it to facilitate the transfer of her personal phone number off the phone plan. But that is not what they did. Instead, without Abel's consent or authorization, Jones and Jonesworks accessed, copied, and monitored Abel's private communications, including her text messages and personal emails, bypassing password protection that would otherwise bar access through the use of Abel's passcode. Jones quickly set out to exploit the data she had unlawfully stolen from Abel's phone. And here we are, guys, at the August 21st date. So this is where this all starts going down. Jones disclosed at least some of Abel's private communications to the Lively parties no later than August 21st, 2024, over a month before the SHAM lawsuit was filed, mind you. Leslie Sloan, Lively's publicist, confirmed as much to Melissa Nathan, Wayfarer's crisis PR representative, on a phone call that evening. Sloan gloated that, based on what she had already seen and what Jones had told her, Nathan could expect to be sued. Okay, 1 second. Oh, here's Omar. Hey, I saw your face for a second there. Oh, now I can't hear you. I don't know what's happening. He's muted. Okay, well, hopefully he'll pop back in a second. It's like, Omar. Yeah, no, Omar's disappeared on us. Anyways.
The phone.
That scared me. God damn. Hey, what's up? There you are. Yeah, you're like just in time for all the interesting stuff too. Can you hear?
Hello there, young lady. I don't know if you could hear me, but I could hear you.
I can hear you now. You can't?
Oh, there you are. What was that?
What do you mean? What was it?
You like welched at me or something?
No. I'm echoing in your room, so you need to mute that.
Oh, you are echoing in my room?
Yeah, I can hear myself on your end, which is devastating to me.
All right. Well, let me.
Somebody says they're not prefacing the info about the iCloud with upon information and belief. They must have the receipts. I bet they do, man. Omar just making fun of you, always forgetting to unmute. Yeah, no, for real. We'll give him like 1 more minute to come back in here because he hasn't seen any of this stuff yet, I don't think. So, did Omar rob Italy of its silk? Because that voice is back. Oh, man. Wait, this trailer is awesome. What trailer, man? All right, we'll give him 1 second, guys. Oh, there he is. Hold on. Hey.
Did that fix anything?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
All right. See?
All right. So you just got here just in time for this new stuff. So.
Are we on the Wayfarer complaint? I skimmed through it, and I can tell you right now that there is criminal stuff. Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna read through this part right here, and then I'll ask you some questions about it. Okay. Jones quickly set out to exploit the data she stole from Abel's phone. Let's see. On August 21st, she gloated that based on what she saw, Nathan could expect to be sued. These communications were drawn largely from iCloud, which is accessible through the confiscated iPhone. Upon information and belief, Jones falsely told Sloan that Wayfarer, along with Abel and Nathan, had orchestrated a malicious smear campaign to destroy Lively's reputation as retaliation for Lively's purported complaints about sexual harassment on set. Jones knew that this was false, as not only was she well aware that Lively had not actually been sexually harassed on set, she also knew there had not been a smear campaign. This is clear because Jones was copied on many of Wayfarer's emails and text threads during the relevant period and knew full well that Wayfarer was scarcely engaging with the press at all in August 2024, much less carrying out offensive tactics in retaliation for something that never happened. On information and belief, shortly thereafter, Jones took things a step further and transmitted Abel's stolen communications directly to Sloan, Lively, and Reynolds. At the time, Lively was reeling from a storm of negative publicity. Devoid of scruples concerning the unlawful means by which they obtained the communications and desperate for a scapegoat for Lively's bad press, the Lively parties likely saw a unique opportunity. While the contents of Abel's communications do not support the existence of an untraceable smear campaign, they do show that by the time of the film's premiere, Abel and others in Wayfarer's circle held Lively in deep disdain and to a certain extent regarded her self-immolation with a degree of schadenfreude. Wow. These sentiments were the natural result of the Wayfarer party's firsthand knowledge of Lively's vicious behavior and malignant persona. That's such an important. Could you read that again?
Which part?
57. Go back to 57.
Oh, the whole damn thing. My God, that was wordy.
At the time, Lively was reeling from a storm of negative publicity, devoid of scruples concerning the unlawful means by which they obtained the communications and desperate for a scapegoat for Lively's bad press. the lively parties likely saw a unique opportunity. While the contents of Abel's communications do not support the existence of an untraceable smear campaign, they do show that by the time of the film's premiere, Abel and others in Wayfarer's circle held Lively in deep disdain and to a certain extent regarded her self-immolation with a degree of schadenfreude. I don't even know how to say that. These sentiments were the natural result of the Wayfarer party's first-hand knowledge of Lively's. Bro, this is like, I'm going to talk to Anita like at 9:30.
Yeah, it's in like an hour. I'm going to send people over your way because we'll be done here in like 10 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm sorry I'm so late. Jesus Christ.
You're good, man. I'm drained because like I read all this stuff in the last complaint. It was largely the same, but I had never heard this before. And so I was like sitting here shouting at the monitor, like, what is happening? And I was exhausted.
I felt like you were hyperventilating. It's like, Lauren, you got to get a grip.
I was like, I was text shouting at you in all caps. I was like, Omar, they did this. They did this.
And I was telling the wife, yeah, I'm going to stream like at 9:30. And so we'll have time to, relax or whatever. And then, nope. It's like, we must go live. There's a new filing. It's like, oh shit. I guess it's going to be a long stream.
Next time you relay what I'm saying to your wife, I need you to shout it like I'm typing in all caps in your text.
I just showed her, like, hey, look what's coming in on the newsreel. It's Lauren yelling at me. Yelling at me about these new complaints.
There needs to be a live feed of my text messages in your house.
Oh boy. Whenever you text me, like the bat signal goes off. Like it flashes purple lights in my house.
I'm gonna get you like a keychain, one of those keychains that's like a little laser pointer, but it's gonna have a bat on it.
Like one of those I've fallen and can't get up. Life alert? Is it like one of those?
You're not ready for that. You got at least 5 to 10 years left before you need that.
Oh, at least 30, hopefully. I hope it's not only 10.
Nah, probably not. Probably not that long. You're what, like 60?
Jesus.
All right. Anyways, schadenfreude. All right. These sentiments were the natural. We read that part. In turning over these materials to lively parties, Jones knew full well how they would be used. With slicing, dicing, cherry picking, massaging, and in some cases outright alteration, the lively parties exploited Abel's text messages to great effect. Joining forces with the New York Times, the lively parties commissioned the hit. Have you seen this before? Massaging text messages? Like, can you explain
like the phrase massaging text message?
Yeah. What does that mean? Like,
it just means they're editing the messages.
Okay.
Shaping the narrative. Like you're making a French style omelet and you kind of just massage it into place. So
I don't do that shit. What are you talking about?
Like the French style omelet, you got to with the small curves and everything. You flip it and you like shape it on the plate. You're massaging it just a little bit.
Why are you massaging dead animals in your kitchen? I mean, real though.
It's numb. So
what are you talking about?
That's how what's her name said to do it.
Who have you been talking to? I have no idea.
Oh, what's her name, man? The French chef. The French chef. What's her name?
Nah, you lost me.
She died when she was like 100. They made a movie about her. Oh, God, I can't think. Julia Child. The art of French cuisine.
Oh, it's Julia Child, I guess.
And Jacques Pepin. They taught me how to make a French omelet. I never forgot.
That was my next guess. Jacques Pepin. All right. That's what I was going to say.
Totally.
All right. Jones continued discussions with lively parties over the subsequent months, reiterating the false allegations that they orchestrated a smear campaign. For different reasons, the lively parties, on the one hand, and Jones Works, on the other hand, needed to create a veneer of legitimacy. Upon information and belief, the lively parties anticipated or were told directly that the New York Times would not traffic. Sorry. Oh my God. Okay.
I mean, not to expose your O face. What's going on with you, Lauren?
People don't touch me. I don't have an O face. Upon information and belief, the lively parties anticipated or were told directly that the New York Times would not traffic in stolen communications under these circumstances. So the New York Times was like, nah.
Yo, weren't you just telling me the other day, like, what the fuck with New York Times? Like, what do they even do?
So they said no. And then these people went to get a SHAM
Wow. The New York Times would not traffic in stolen communications under these circumstances due to the color of law. So therefore, sham lawsuit. Jones and Jones Works, for their part, wanted to insulate themselves from legal exposure to waive. Wow. They wanted to insulate themselves.
So even the New York Times was like, no, fuck this. Ah!
So they knew what they were doing was basically illegal. For breaches of confidentiality. Oh, shit.
This is crazy.
Accordingly, on September 27, 2024, working hand in glove with Jones and Jones Works, the lively parties and their counsel at Manott, Phelps, and Phillips initiated a sham legal proceeding in New York State Court. And Van Zandt Inc. versus Doe's 1 through 10 inclusive, the sham lawsuit was nothing more than a transparent ploy to obtain subpoena power. The plaintiff, Van Zandt Inc., is an inactive corporate entity affiliated with Lively and Reynolds and entirely unrelated to the film of the Wayfarer parties. The lawsuit asserts 3 causes of action: breach of contract, breach of implied covenant of good faith and fair dealing, and faithless servants against Doe defendants only. The lawsuit does not explain how or why Van Zandt was unable to identify the proper defendants, especially in the context of a breach of contract action. Instead, Van Zandt and Manott implausibly claim not to be privy to the identities of its own contractual counterparties or its own employees, contractors, agents, representatives. The lawsuit is devoid of specific allegations against anyone, much less Abel, relying exclusively on generalized recitations or boilerplate legal jargon. Notably, Van Zandt never requested the assignment of a judge, substituted the Doe defendants for named parties, or served the complaint on any defendant. The only docket entries are the complaint and a notice of dismissal filed on December 19th, the day before Lively filed her CRD complaint against the Wayfarer parties. Plaintiffs informed and believes and based thereon alleges, and upon receiving the sham subpoena on or about October 1, 2024, Jones and Jones Works turned over the entire contents of Abel's iPhone and cloud-stored communications for a second time, creating a veneer of legitimacy and affording Jones and Jones Works plausible deniability once the Times came through for Lively. Holy shit. So they knew what they had was illegal.
But then they're just like, oh, the sham lawsuit will do? Oh,
They
no, this is a bridge too far, but just a little bit of weirdo activity is fine.
They literally laundered evidence. Like, we got this money illegally. Let's put it through the car wash. So now we could pay taxes and it's legitimate. That's
even
what they did.
Cassidy's like, what? Oh my God, this is insane. Also,
somebody told me to watch Cassidy's video about, did Cassidy?
Which one? She has a lot of great ones.
I guess whatever the last one was, could somebody send me a link? Well, I mean, I'm not going to have time to watch it before my next live.
I'll send it to you. Yeah. I haven't seen it either because she put it out a little bit before I did my first live tonight. So this is my second live tonight.
About something she put out. I'm assuming it's her last video.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it before I go to bed, but I haven't seen it.
I don't know why I'm asking you to send me a link. I could just Google her. What am I doing? Jesus.
I don't know. My brain's not working right now. I'm so confused. I'm like, why would you do this?
They illegally obtained evidence, and they knew they illegally obtained evidence, and so they laundered the evidence by attaching it to legality through a sham lawsuit. I can't even begin to break down how effing wrong that is. And there may be like legitimate criminal implications in all of this. I gotta put some thought into this. I really gotta break this down. This is the first time reading this shit. I haven't even read the whole complaint. I perused it, and now I'm like reading it word for word. It's like, Jesus.
Well, I haven't read this yet either. That's why I'm like, my eyes are bulging out of my mouth right now.
Well, I can't wait to talk to Anita about this. She's gonna be
Oh yeah, no, Anita's in the chat right here.
Yeah, I think she's telling me she'd go at 9. Anita, I don't think I can make 9 because I'll do my best.
We'll be done here. Like, we're on 44 out of 56 already, so we'll be done here. We got 10 pages left, and the last of them is just we'll skim through the last bit. Okay, where were we at here?
Tess sent me the link.
Tess?
Yeah, I'll check that out later.
Oh, Tess. I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So we get through this part? Jones works with their counsel provide notice of the subpoena or its representatives. Upon information and belief, the entire affair was orchestrated by the lively parties. Jones works to fly under the radar and enable them to paper over their unlawful conduct through an additional unlawful conduct. In December 2024, the Wayfarer team finally learned the magnitude of Jones' betrayal. Is this why she hired criminal attorneys, you think?
Yes.
Holy shit, it's really that bad.
I mean, you don't hire a criminal attorney for a civil case unless there's something criminal attached, potentially.
How could you be so stupid and think this won't come out?
I don't know, man. I think that just whoever got the bright idea.
All this bitch had to do was sit there, collect $20,000, and then let her employee go when she didn't want to work for her anymore. And she was like, "No, I'm gonna break the law and ruin my reputation." I
think she was convinced that this attorney said, "No, look, we will launder the evidence. I know you got it legally, but if I could get it through on the subpoena, we already have it. But now we could claim we got it through the subpoena, and then it's good."
Because that's untraceable. God, what?
I mean, if it wasn't for Without a Crystal Ball, who cracked the case, I'm just shocked that it took Without a Crystal Ball, not the Daily Mail, not like all these media outlets, not like any of the lawyers on the case. Without a Crystal Ball is the one that found.
You want to hear something really dumb? And I think you weren't here when I said this the other day. Is I saw that lawsuit like a couple months ago, and I was like, "Well, this is obviously a mistake," and then I just moved on. I was like, this is obviously nothing. This was obviously just meant to be a placeholder for something else. And then I was just like, I guess I'll move on to the next thing. Oh my God.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so stupid. So stupid. Oh man. Yeah. No, I mean, this is just so crazy. I can't believe that. All right, we're pretty much at the end here. Following the coordinated drop of Lively's fantastical CRD complaint and an explosive New York Times article, Wayfarer and Baldoni became objects of public scorn and derision. Baldoni has been wrongfully labeled as a sex pest, his accolades have been tarnished, and his future projects thrown into doubt. The same is true of Wayfarer, which has been falsely cast as an enabler of sexual misconduct and the architect of a vicious retaliation campaign against a victim of such misconduct. Indeed, his very viability as a studio has been thrown into doubt as a direct result of Jones' actions on behalf of Jonesworks. In response to Jonesworks and Jones' profoundly cynical decision to take legal action under these circumstances, Wayfarer now asserts its own claims. So we have breach of contract count 1, breach of contract count 2, breach of implied covenant of good faith and fair dealing, defamation per se.
This is boilerplate. I don't think you need to read all that.
Yeah, no, we're pretty much at the end here.
Yeah, that's fast. This is fascinating.
Holy shit. This is just the contract.
I thought it was gonna be a quiet night. I gotta dive into this shit.
No, this is so nutty. This is so nutty, dude.
This is way crazier than I thought it was gonna be. I had no idea. This is the first time I could think of in recent memory. You might actually have a definition of a new legal term. Laundering evidence.
Oh my God, dude. Cassidy says the timing of this dropping while Ryan and Blake are out getting accolades at the Time thing is making my night. Yeah, they're at the Times 100 Summit right now getting awards.
With their plastic smiles all like smeared on their faces. Their phones probably blowing up from their attorneys like, "Hey, just so you know, shit's about to get real." And they might be getting some notices from their criminal attorneys about, "Hey, we've just been hit with some other subpoenas for some criminal stuff." I don't know if anything's going on. I'm just speculating. I'm just talking shit. I don't know what's going on. I'm just saying where
this lady's dumb. I'm like, whoa, you're dumb. I'm sorry. I cannot. Oh my God.
There's legitimate reasons to think that there's going to be criminal charges at some point. I don't know. I got to look more into it. I got to read.
In the Abel complaint, the other document that I read earlier is the one where it has the CFAA stuff on it. So that there's like a whole other mess going on there. So
I don't even know what all the crimes would be. I mean, obviously computer fraud.
And abuse. There's
something about confidentiality to whom?
There was something about wire. I think there was something wire transfer. I don't know.
Wiretapping. Yeah.
Let me hang on. I got it right here. Let's just look at the things at the end.
If it's illegal recordings, that's a big deal in California. California's a two-party state.
I'm pretty sure it was. Hang on. It's Abel. We'll go to the bottom here.
Wiretapping. Does Omar know that Jones had access to Abel's phone in January?
Until 3 months ago.
I learned of that just like minutes ago.
When I was text shouting at you, I think.
Literally like 30 minutes ago when you were shouting at me.
All right. So we have, which time? Sorry. We have violation of the CFAA. We have violations of Stored Communications Act. Violations of the Federal Wiretap Act. Okay. Violations of California Penal Code Section 502. What is that? Do you know?
What was the penal code?
502.
Off the top of my head.
Knowingly accessing and without permission obtaining, altering, disseminating, or otherwise using data, computer system. Okay. Fifth was invasion of privacy. Then we have false lights. We have conversion as the seventh.
Are these the causes of action?
Yeah. Eighth is intentional infliction of emotional distress. Ninth was negligent infliction of emotional distress. 10th is permissive fraud. And that was it. I noticed she took off the false imprisonment one.
Well, false imprisonment's kind of although arguably they did falsely imprison Abel.
Right.
Which would be a criminal charge. Basically, rerun that cause of action, the list for me.
Oh, dude, do I not have it on the screen? I'm sorry.
No, yeah, what the fuck?
Sorry. I thought I was on the screen. Hang on. Back up. First, CFAA here. Violation of CFAA.
Violation of, okay. That is a crime?
Mm-hmm.
That is a federal crime.
Second was violations of Stored Communications Act.
Federal crime.
Okay. Violations of the Federal Wiretap Act.
Federal crime.
That's definitely a state crime.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah. Violations of California Penal Code Section 502. Okay. Yeah. Invasion of privacy.
It's more of a civil cause of action, whatever to that.
False light.
Same thing.
Yeah. Conversion.
Yeah. Technically it could be a crime, but they're not going to charge her for a misdemeanor conversion.
Yeah. Eighth, we have intentional infliction of emotional distress. And
unless
then there was
after false imprisonment, that's not a crime.
Or negligent infliction of emotional distress.
Action.
Promissory fraud.
A constructive cause of action.
And that was it.
And relief. All right. So that kind of answers the question. Those are the criminal implications. Half of those are crimes. Yeah. 4 of them are federal crimes. One of them is a California misdemeanor. I don't know if it's a wobbler or not. I've never personally defended that crime.
Well, I hope you don't have to. Unless you're into that, then okay.
I don't have white collar criminals. I got a blue collar criminals, I guess.
What are you gonna do if I go out there and do some white collar crime while I'm visiting
Just
LA?
don't fucking talk to the cops and call me immediately.
I will do that in reverse order. What if I call you on my way to do the crime? Does that count?
Well, that would be preferable, so I could try to talk you out of it at least.
What if I crime while I have you on speakerphone? Does that make you an accessory?
Don't do that. Please, if you're going to do that, don't do that.
I wasn't asking for your input. I was just asking if it would make you an accessory.
It may. If I don't call the cops and tell them what's going on, it may make me an accessory.
Oh my lord! All right, I'm gonna settle down and get ready for bed here. But
all right,
Anita and Omar. So I'm sending you guys when we end this stream. You're going to be redirected over to Omar's. He and Anita will be going on. I don't know what time you're going to go on. I know you planned on 8:30 over there, but
hey, that thing with Shauna Stewart was on when we were talking about this. The
last night, yeah.
Smart move, Loring. What did they say about smart move? What was the smart move? It couldn't have been the sham lawsuit.
I think that is what they were talking about, but the context is unclear to me because I didn't get to watch the whole stream because I was working, so I'm not really positive. I saw a lot of people talking about that, but I don't exactly know what was said. I just know
when I did hear it, when this broke, I don't know if it was last week or earlier this week, but when I heard them talking about it, they were saying that it was clever but ill-advised for reasons. That was when they had Judge Scherer on.
Was it?
So, yeah.
Well, I think this was when they were talking. Well, I know they had talked to Zach. Yeah, was that yesterday? They talked to Zach, and then they had the Daily Mail guy on. That's what they're talking about. They were talking about when they had the Daily Mail guy on because I saw part of that, but I didn't see the part that people were talking about.
I doubt that they were calling it a smart lawyering move or a smart. I think it was what they meant by that was it was clever, or they thought they were being clever, but they're playing fucking Magnus Carlsen. You can't just sack a bishop and expect anything to happen.
Who's Magnum Carlton?
I don't know who Magnum Carlsen is, but Magnus Carlsen is the greatest chess player who's ever lived.
Of course, that's who you would reference. Okay. Let me read these real quick, hang on, in case you get any questions. Invader Zim. I remember Invader Zim. Thank you, Ricardo, for the 2. When is the pool duel and arm wrestling contest? It's in about a month, a little over a month, Cat Lady. Omar and I are going to race when I go out to LA. So, yeah. Miss Busted Can of Biscuits, thank you for the $3 super sticker. Thank you for the $2 again, Cat Lady. Launder evidence like Laura Owens. April Love, thank you for the 2. New York Times acted in bad faith with Justin. They knew twice. They did. They knew it was wrong. And then they were like, okay, this is less wrong. So now we're fine with it. Okay. Anyways, April, thank you again for the 2. You didn't read my super chat. Sad face. No, I just read it twice. Happy face.
I think I'm gonna move up my stream to 9:15. If Anita's still in the chat,
she probably is. Hang on, Anita. We're signing the bat signal for Anita.
Well, I'll shoot her. I'll shoot her a text.
Well, we'll send you guys over to join the chat, anyways.
It's scheduled right now for 9:30. I might move it up to 9:15 ish or so, or 9:10. We'll see.
All right. Well, I will be listening, but I will not be screaming on your stream tonight. So
I'm assuming you're going to be on a gummy. I'm going to be fucking with you.
I have not even touched the gummy. Can you imagine if I had taken an edible before reading this? I would have been out of this world. Like, what is happening? Okay.
You would have been a giggle fest over there.
It would have been. I would have been like, am I even reading the right thing here? Is this like a fan fiction from like a Blake Lively subreddit or something? Like what?
Indeed, real life.
Being bop boom 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 bop bam. Thank you for the $2. Blake spoke tonight. Yeah, I intentionally avoided that, but thanks for the reminder.
She like thanking people for her. I don't know what she did. 2 lawyers initially were very critical of Blake's team's actions, but after we're praising them for being clever, and they dismissed the use of Van Zandt to get Abel's phone. In contrast, Cassidy has been great.
Cassidy's responded to that. Hang on. What does she say? In their defense,
they put their firm name out, so they have to be careful what they say. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really I have no comment on that. I remember what their first comments on it were, and I think that those are more accurate.
Oh, Nita's right here, man.
Oh, what's up, Nita? Hey, let's do it at 9:10 or so.
20 minutes?
Yeah, about 20 minutes.
All right. So we'll end now. I'll send you guys over there, and then Nita and Omar will be ready in 20 minutes or so. I think I read all the super chats. Yeah, no problem, April. No problem. Sorry, it takes me a little while sometimes. I was too baffled by what we were reading to pay attention. All right. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Because we have Jed Wallace coming out tomorrow. Shit. See ya.
Love you all, man. Bye-bye. Oh, I'm